afternoon to the students. So my name is Arul Prakash. I am the new biology staff. So I am going to handle both botany as well as zoology for 10, 11 and 12. Hopefully I will expect a full cooperation from you, and I also try to give my best to you pupils to understand all the concepts and techniques involved in the biology. Okay, now let's move on to the topic. So today we are going to see about the digestion and the absorption. So I hope this unit is not been covered for your BIO-ZOOLOGY. So today we are going to discuss about digestion and absorption. Okay, so we know that in your day-to-day life, how you are able to survive, how you are able to live. We are able to live only by means of intaking food. Okay, so all living organisms are able to live, or they are able to survive only by taking food. Okay, so for survival or for our living, we are taking food. Okay, so when you take food, what is happening? Why we need food? What is the need of food? When you take food, food usually provides two important roles. It provides energy to us, okay, and apart from this, food also provides various organic molecules. It produces various organic substances. So two important role that is performed by food is, when you intake food, you are able to get more amount of energy. So all living organisms are able to survive. For the survival, we need energy. So when you want to have energy, where you will get energy? Only from the food. So we need food. Another important thing is, we are able to grow day by day, and a lot of tissues are get damaged. So for the growth of our body, as well as for the repairing of the damaged tissues, we need organic substances. These organic substances are also being produced only from the source of food. So food usually provides two important basic needs for our human life. It gives energy and it gives organic substances. And this one is used for two important purposes. One is for repairing the damaged tissue. Another one is for building the new tissues, for building new macromolecular components. One is for synthesizing, another one is for repairing. All these things we need these organic substances, right? So by this we can able to understand that for our survival we need food. Okay, so next come to this topic, digestion and absorption. What is the need of this topic, digestion and absorption? See, when you are able to take food, these foods are present in the form of complex form like macromolecules. Okay, these macromolecules are very complex. The food which is present in our various plants and animal source, right? Various plant foods like cereals, cereals, vegetables, all those things are plant-derived foods. Animal derived foods like meat, fish, egg, and all those things, they are also animal food. All these plants and animal foods are having nutrients like carbohydrate, right? Proteins, vitamins, minerals. Okay, so these are all the macromolecules. Even it will be having lipids. Okay, so the food usually have carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, vitamins, and minerals. These foods are not present in a simplest form. They are called as macromolecules. They are present in complex form. Is it clear? So this complex form of food cannot be easily absorbed and digested by our body. So these complex form of food has to be intaken by our body, and it will have to be degraded into micromolecules. Okay, so once it is degraded into micromolecules, then only it will be intaken by our body. So the conversion of these complex food molecules into simpler forms, that is micromolecules, is usually takes place only with the help of a digestive system. Okay, so only we are supposed to study this topic, digestion and absorption. Why we are supposed to study digestion and absorption? Because food, whatever the food we are taking, rice, wheat, everything, whatever we take, these foods are not been easily taken up by our body. It is not easily taken up because they are complex form. These complex form of food are broken down into simpler form like micromolecules. Then only the food is been taken up by our body. So the conversion of macro into micromolecules takes place only by a system called digestive system. So here comes our system, digestive system. Only with the help of digestive system, this process, conversion of complex into simpler form, takes place. So that is why we are studying this unit 5, digestion and absorption. So this complex form is converted to simpler form, that is digestion. Once it is converted to simpler form, that is taken up by our body, it is called as a absorption. So you should understand what is meant by digestion and absorption. Okay, next. So as I already discussed, digestive system. So as the name indicates, digestive system. So the digestive system, it is mainly involved in conversion of complex molecules into simpler ones. So what is the main component of digestive system? What is the main component of digestive system? So the component of digestive system, mainly it includes, look at this component of digestive system, it usually consists of two important components. One is called as this alimentary canal. Okay, this is called as a alimentary canal. Okay, so first component is alimentary canal. So it starts with mouth and it ends with the anus. Okay, so this is called as a one component of your digestive system, right? The component of digestive system includes alimentary canal and another one is associated glands. Is it clear? So what is alimentary canal? It is a digestive tract that usually starts with mouth and it usually ends with anus. So it is called as the alimentary canal. Okay, so that is one important component, alimentary canal. Second important component of your digestive system is that associated glands with this digestive system. What are the associated glands with the digestive system? It usually includes the salivary gland, the pancreatic gland, okay, then intestinal glands. So all these are glands are also been get associated. So if you come to this digestive system, the component of digestive system is alimentary canal, and second one is its associated glands. So the digestive system important components is alimentary canal and its associated glands. So the system that starts from this mouth and it ends with the anus. Okay, this straight muscular bag-like structure, that is called as a alimentary canal. Then what is the associated glands? There are various glands that is get associated with this digestive tract. So what are the glands? You see here, salivary glands. You have a pancreatic glands here. You have a gallbladder, liver glands, and you have a glands that is having present inside this small and large intestine. Some of the enzymes also produced from small intestine, large intestine. So they also have some glands. So all these alimentary canal and associated glands are the components of your digestive system. Okay, next we will move on to the process of your digestive system. What are the important process of your digestive system? So what is meant by this process of digestive system? What is the meaning for that? So far you have discussed what is meant by food, what are the components of food, what is your main use of intake of food, how the food is, why we need this digestive system, because only with the help the complex foods are converted into simpler ones. That is why we need digestive system. So then what are the component of digestive system? We have discussed, that is alimentary canal and associated glands, And apart from this, so you have a digestive system that is having alimentary canal and associated glands. So now what is the use or how the digestion usually takes place? It's not that a simple process, just you take food and it will be immediately digested. It involves 5 important steps. So digestive system is a process that usually takes place in 5 steps. Okay. So the first step is called as the ingestion. Okay. So what is meant by ingestion? It is the intake of food. When you take a food, you are able to take a food through your mouth. So intake of food is called as a ingestion. So ingestion is a intake of food. This is the first process of your digestive system. Second process of your digestive system is what? Once you take in a food, then this food will be what? It will be transported. Okay. So second process is called as a. So next is digestion. Once you get ingested, it has to be digested. So second process is a digestion. So foods present inside your body, in your mouth, it will be passed on to this alimentary canal. The complex foods will be converted to simpler ones. That is called as a digestion. So degradation. Degradation of food. Okay. Or breakdown. Both are same. If you want, you can write as a breakdown of food. Both are same only. So what is meant by digestion? The foods once you swallow, it will be degraded or it will be broken down into simpler ones. That is called as a second process, digestion. Then what is the third process? This digested food which is present in your intestinal tract, it will be transported from the intestine through the blood vessels. So it is called as a transportation. Third process is called as a transportation. So here it is usually takes place through your bloodstream. Okay. The other name for this transportation is absorption. Transportation or absorption. So the digestive food will be absorbed from the intestine through the blood vessels. Okay, that is called as a transportation or absorption. And what is the fourth process? When you come to this fourth process, then it is called as a assimilation. Fourth process is called as a assimilation. What is meant by assimilation? The food that is being present in the bloodstream will be transported from the blood to the cell. Okay, food will be transported. So intake of food, intake of digested food from bloodstream into cell, okay, is called as a assimilation. Okay, so from the bloodstream the food will be taken up by the cell. It is called as a assimilation. Then the last process is called as a ejection. So what is meant by ejection? So once the food is being transported to the cell, the food, the simplest form of food will be again broken down inside the cell, and a lot of energy will be produced. And after this, the unwanted and undigested food, the unabsorbed and undigested food which is present in the cell as well as in the intestinal tracts will be sent out of the body. So it is called as a ejection. So it is a removal of the undigested food. What is meant by ejection? Is a removal of undigested food is called as a ejection. So when you come to the process of digestion, it includes 5 important steps. One is called as a ingestion, that is intake of food. Second process is called as a digestion, that is breakdown of food into simpler molecules. Third process is called as a absorption, that is the digested food will be absorbed from the intestine into the bloodstream. And the fourth process is called as a assimilation. So from the bloodstream, the digested food will be taken into the cell, that is called as a assimilation. And the last process is ejection. So whatever the foods that is being digested only will be taken up by the bloodstream into the cell. Some foods will not be digested, so that will be remain in the intestinal tract forever. So these undigested food and undigested as well as unabsorbed. What is the meaning for undigested and unabsorbed? The food will not be digested, that is called as undigested. Unabsorbed means what? The food will digested, but it is not even absorbed. So this undigested and unabsorbed food from the intestine will be sent out of the body through the anus. So this process is called as a ejection. So you know what is the process of your digestive system. Okay, now I hope you are clear with this, right? So next is that structure of your alimentary canal. What is the next topic you are supposed to discuss? The structure of Okay, so we are going to discuss about the structure of your alimentary canal. So as I already discussed, your alimentary canal usually starts with, this is the alimentary canal. It usually starts with saliva, what is it? It starts with, what is it? You have a mouth here, right? So in this diagram you have a mouth here. So you also have a mouth here. So the structure of alimentary canal usually opens, or it starts with your anterior end. This is called as anterior end and this is called as posterior end. So your alimentary canal starts with your anterior end, especially from the mouth. So mouth is the first part of your alimentary canal. So it starts at the anterior end. Okay. Then this alimentary canal is able to pass through here and finally it ends with the posterior end of your body and it is called as a anus. So here you can see this very simplified diagram. The alimentary canal starts with the mouth here and usually it ends posteriorly in the anus. So this structure is called as the alimentary canal. So this is the structure of your alimentary canal. So now we have discussed it is the starting point is mouth, the ending point of alimentary canal is the anus. Okay. So other than this, what are the parts that is being associated with this alimentary canal? If you look at the parts of this alimentary canal, it starts with mouth and then it is usually having, it is able to end with a small cavity. What is meant by cavity? It's a small space, no? If you look at your mouth, you have a mouth here and you'll be having a small space inside your mouth, no? That is called as a oral cavity. So this is called as a oral cavity. So next to this oral cavity, the alimentary canal usually ends with a pharynx. Okay, this is called as a pharynx. So this is a, we call this pharynx as a common passage. Okay, why it is called as a common passage? Because both food and air is able to pass through this one. This structure is here is called as a pharynx. So your alimentary canal starts with your mouth, it goes with the buccal cavity and then it goes with your pharynx and then finally it's able to enter into a long thin tube-like structure and it's called as a esophagus, right? And after this the alimentary canal, it is slowly going and then you see here this tube-like structure ends with the stomach. So this bag-like structure, no? Stomach is a bag-like structure. So this esophagus ends with a bag-like structure called a stomach. From the stomach again the alimentary canal able to proceed and forms a intestine. Okay. So intestine includes two important parts. One is called as a small intestine and then after this small intestine the alimentary canal is able to pass through a large intestine. Okay. After this the large intestine, the alimentary canal is able to pass through a rectum. Okay. Next to this rectum it is able to pass through the, finally it ends with the anus. So if you look at the alimentary canal, it usually starts with the mouth and it ends with the anus and in between this you are having different types of checkpoints or different compartments, right? So it has to pass through all these compartments and finally it ends with the anus. So this is the structure of your alimentary canal. So what we are supposed to discuss in this particular topic is that we have to start from the mouth and then you have to study the functions of this each and every structure. What is happening in the mouth? What is happening in the oral cavity? What is happening in the esophagus? After the food is passed from the esophagus, how it is being, what is taking place in the stomach? Then from the stomach, how the food is moving into small intestine and how again it is moving into large intestine. And then finally what is happening? All these things we are going to discuss. So that is called as your structure of your alimentary canal. So we will start with today we will discuss about this mouth, salivary gland and we will see if time permits. Otherwise we will discuss the remaining parts or the remaining functions of this other alimentary canal in the next classes, right? So first when your food is able to take, the first part of your alimentary canal is mouth. What is the first part of your alimentary canal? That is mouth. So mouth is the first part of your alimentary canal. So okay. So once you are able to take the food through your mouth, what is the role of this mouth? Mouth will take the food. That is the main role of your mouth. Once food is enter from your mouth, no, it is able to present in this oral cavity. Okay, so a small space, no? If you open your mouth, you have a lot of space, no? That is called as a oral cavity, or it is otherwise called as a buccal cavity. So what is happening in the buccal cavity? In the buccal cavity, the teeth and tongues are present. You are able to have a teeth and tongue, right? So that is present in the buccal cavity. These teeth, what is the role of these teeth? These teeth will grind the food into small pieces, and after this, these grind food from the teeth will be mixed with the enzymes produced from the salivary gland. Okay, you have a salivary gland at this end. So these salivary glands will be able to produce a lot of digestive enzymes. Okay, these digestive enzymes like salivary amylase, these enzyme will mix with the food. It will mix with the food and it will try to break down that food. That is what happening in your buccal cavity. So the first digestion of food takes place mechanically in the mechanically as well as chemically. Okay, mechanically it is been taking place by crushing of this food with the teeth. Chemically it is being digested by the action of enzymes. Chemical means what? Enzyme is a chemical. So the food will be mixed with the enzymes, that is a chemical, and then the digestion takes place. Okay, since the food is being digested by enzymes like chemicals, so it is called as a chemical digestion. So in your buccal cavity, what is happening? Both mechanical digestion as well as chemical digestion usually takes place in the salivary gland. Is it clear? So the detailed structure about these teeth, you have a different in your book they are given that there are 4 different types of teeth and what is plague and all those things. I will try to explain in the next class by giving a proper diagram. So today you don't bother about that teeth. So next class I will explain about what is canine teeth, what is incisor, premolar and molar in the next class. But today you just understand, once food is entering into buccal cavity, teeth is used to grind that food and makes into pieces. So that is called as mechanical digestion. Next to that, chemical digestion takes place by the secretion of enzyme salivary amylase, and it is produced by this salivary gland. So these glands are all present in the buccal cavity. Okay, after that food is been digested from the salivary gland, you have one important organ that is called as a tongue. Okay, this tongue is used to mix. It will try to swallow, it will try to intake the food, it will try to chew the food, it helps to mix the saliva with the food. So all functions are performed by your tongue. Is it clear? So what is the role of performed by your tongue? This tongue is usually able to intake the food. It grinds the food. So what is happening? What is meant by grinding? It will totally break the food. The third one is it mixes the grind food with the enzyme saliva. Okay, salivary enzyme, no? It mixes that food with the salivary enzyme. So that is the third important process. Fourth one is what? After that food is slightly broken down and mixed with the chemical like saliva, it will help the food to swallow. So once you are able to swallow, no, for swallowing also you need a tongue. So these are all the other important functions of your tongue. Okay, so these teeth and tongue are the important components of buccal cavity, and they are for the respective functions are also been discussed. Is it clear? Next, after the food is being able to partially digested from your salivary gland, it is now able to pass through a common passage called the pharynx. Okay, what is meant by pharynx? Pharynx is called as a food pipe. So you have completed mouth, you have completed buccal cavity. So you have completed what is meant by mouth and you have completed what is meant by buccal cavity. Buccal cavity includes, already we discussed about teeth and tongue. What is the functions of teeth? What is the functions of tongue? We have discussed. Third important, what is that? Part of your alimentary canal is your pharynx. Okay, so pharynx is called as a food pipe. What is meant by pharynx? It is called as a food pipe. Is it clear? So once the food is being partially digested with the help of salivary amylase, the food is able to pass through a common pipe called as a pharynx. Okay, so pharynx is usually having a common a passage, and through this pharynx only the food is able to pass through from buccal cavity into the esophagus. So from here the food is passing through the small thin bag like structure called esophagus. How it is passed? It is passed through pharynx. Is it clear? Okay. Next. So when you come to this pharynx, no, they use a term called as epiglottids. So when you are able to come across the term pharynx, they use a term called epiglottids. What is epiglottids? So if you look at this one is a pharynx, okay, and these pharynx are able to leads to oesophagus. This is called as oesophagus, and this is pharynx. Okay, this is pharynx. A small flap-like structure. A small flap. Flap. What does it mean by flap? It is like a closing a lid. If you take a lid, you may have a outer topmost layer that is able to close the lid, right? Similarly, you have a small flap-like structure, and that flap-like structure is called as a epiglottids. Okay, so these pharynx will be having epiglottids. So this structure is called as a epiglottids. Okay, these epiglottids will be present at the back side of your pharynx. Okay, so it will be present here. In this diagram, they are not mentioned where is that epiglottids. So these epiglottids will be present here. They are not marked here. I think this structure will be a epiglottids. Okay, so what is the role of these epiglottids? When you are able to take food, the food, once you are able to intake the food will not be able to pass through, it will be able to pass only through the oesophagus. It will not be able to enter into the trachea. Okay, how it is not able to enter the trachea? Because these epiglottids, it will try to close the windpipe and it will open only the food pipe. Is it clear? If you take pharynx, so I'll just show you the diagram just for your understanding. So this structure is called as a pharynx. Okay, you will be having, this is called as a pharynx. So this is called, from here you will be having oesophagus and all those things. This is called as a food pipe. Okay, and this is called as a vein pipe. So these pharynx, once you are able to take food, this is food. When a food is able to intaken, it has to pass only through this food pipe. It should not be able to pass through the windpipe. Is it clear? So in order to avoid this passage of food from the pharynx is a common passage. So when you are able to take food, the food may be able to enter either windpipe or food pipe. But we want the food to enter through the windpipe. So how it is been coordinated? Here comes a structure called epiglottids. These epiglottids will be present. This is called as a epiglottids. These epiglottids, what will happen? It will simply open when a food is coming. It will open and the food will be able to pass through the food pipe, and at the time it will close the windpipe. So epiglottids will close the windpipe and it will allow or it will open only the food pipe when a food is able to travel. Okay, so epiglottids is a flap-like structure that will be get opened only when food is able to pass through. Once the food is passed through the food pipe, again it will close the food pipe and it will open the windpipe. So it will be working in a vice versa manner. So in this way, these epiglottids regulates the transport of food only through the food pipe but not through the windpipe. So far we have discussed about what is meant by food, what are the components of food, and what is the use of food, why we want to need food, and what is the topic is food and digestion and absorption, why we need digestive system. Okay, because only with the help we can break down the food. After this, what is the role of what are the different components of digestive system, that is alimentary canal and your associated glands. And what is the structure of your alimentary canal? We discussed with your mouth, and it is finally ending with your anus. And what are the process of your digestive system? We have discussed 5 important process or steps involved in digestion. What are all they? That is 5 important steps. One is assimilation. First one is called as the intake of food. That is called as ingression. First step is ingression. Second one is called as digestion. Third one is called as absorption. Fourth is called as assimilation. Fifth one is called as ejection. So these are the process of your digestion. And finally, we are discussing each and every component of your digestive system and its functions. Today we have completed salivary mouth, salivary gland and pharynx. So tomorrow onwards we will be discussing about the functions related to the esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, all those things. But still the different components, different types of teeth and its functions also we will discuss in the tomorrow's class. Thank you for everyone.